Hello, this is Mr. Panza and welcome to today's video lesson. Let's get started with our focus question. Today our focus is how do we solve for the greatest common factor, the GCF, and the least common multiple, the LCM. What's great is you can use the same strategy and solve both of these equations, the greatest common factor and least common multiple. Let's find out how. When asked the question, how do we find the greatest common factor and the least common multiple, we can use a method called the upside-down birthday cake. We'll talk about it today. First, the greatest common factor. You may wonder, how can we solve this equation? Well, let's find out. So that music tells you, use the upside-down birthday cake method, or upside-down division. This is what it looks like. Here are the 4 rules. In order to follow the full rules, you have to make sure that you know a couple of things. First, place both products inside the first layer of an upside-down birthday cake. Step 2, decide which of the first 6 prime numbers both products could be divisible by. In other words, test for divisibility. This typically starts with the numbers 2, 3, or 5, and repeat that process. I also told the students to remember the first 6 prime numbers, which are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and lucky 13. Step 3. When the products no longer have a common factor, you place your birthday candles on the bottom of the cake with the answer. And finally, step 4. Circle the numbers on the outside of the cake to multiply so you can put your birthday cake candle answer. And that's all. You have it. Once you hear that, you know that you're finished and you've got it right. Let's take a look at an example. If I were looking for the greatest common factor of 12 and 15, my first steps would be putting the 2 products, 12 and 15, inside the top layer of my birthday candle, and also writing down those 6 primes that I had mentioned that we need to memorize, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and lucky 13. Then I start testing. Can 2 go into both 12 and 15? Well, 2 can go into 12, but not 15. And you can test these numbers for divisibility using a calculator. 2 didn't work, but 3 does. So when I divide 12 by 3, the larger number by the smaller number when we divide, I get an answer. And I divide 15 by 3, I also get an answer. And if I do, I can put those answers in the next layer of our birthday cake. Then I repeat step 2. Can any of these prime numbers go into both 4 and 5? If they can, you put those answers in another layer. If they cannot, then you're ready for the final step. In this case, the GCF is the product of the common prime factors, which in this case would be 3 and 1. How do you know that those are the common prime factors? Follow the steps. Circle those numbers on the outside and multiply them together. In other words, if it is surrounded by the G, you multiply it together, and that becomes your birthday candle answer. So the greatest common factor of both 12 and 15 using the upside-down birthday cake is 3, because the product of the prime factors on the outside of the cake is 3. How about the least common multiple? What method do you think we're going to use if you hear this song? You guessed it. So let's first take a look at the 4 steps, and you'll notice they're almost identical to the greatest common factor, except this is the least common multiple. First, place both products inside the first layer of an upside-down birthday cake. Second, decide which of the first 6 prime numbers both products could be divisible by. Test for divisibility, and yes, you can check with a calculator. Then repeat the process until you're ready to stop. You'll know that you're ready to stop when the products no longer have a common factor. Finally, you highlight the numbers on the outside of the last row as well as the top of that last layer, and it should make the shape of an L of the cake. And then you multiply all of those numbers together, and you get your least common multiple. Let's take a look at an example. If I were looking for the least common multiple of both 8 and 6, I need to first follow the steps. Step 1, draw the top layer, or bottom in this case since it's an upside down birthday cake, of my birthday cake. and write the 6 prime numbers that we need to have memorized: 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and lucky 13. Then place both of the numbers 8 and 6 inside that top layer and see if any of these primes can go into both 8 and 6. If it is a prime that can go into only one, then it's no. But if it can go into both, you're good to go. So 2 can go into 8 and it can go into 6. Those answers go on the next layer of the birthday cake. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. Then try and repeat. If 2 doesn't work, and 3 doesn't work, and 5, 7, 11, and lucky 13 all do not work, then you're done. Except for the multiplying. That final step of the LCM is the only difference. Instead of just taking this 2 as your answer for the greatest common factor, the least common multiple looks at the 2 and the top, or in this case bottom layer, 4 and 3, making the shape of an L. And what do we do with those 3 numbers? You guessed it. We multiply them together. 2 times 4 times 3 will get us our product of 24. And when you're done, you place your birthday candle and your answer right there to see which birthday you're celebrating. And that's how you find the greatest common factor and least common multiple, using the upside down birthday cake or upside down division method. Thanks for watching. I hope this helps.